Hi, my name is Mary Humphreys, and I would like to welcome you to our virtual Back to School night. As you can see on the screen behind me here, this presentation is for Honors English 12, and again, I am Mrs. Humphreys. As we're getting started here, I just wanted to give you a little bit of information how you can access more information about me if you were interested. That's me waving right there, but I did give you a link here, and so along with this video I'm going to give you this actual presentation so you can click through all the links that I have throughout. It's a presentation I made for the students, but parents, certainly you're welcome to get on there if you would like, but it just talks a little bit about my family, some of my favorite things, what I like to do. So feel free to check that out if you would like a little bit more personal information about me. Next, I do believe it's important to share some beliefs with you about, my education philosophy, if you will, as we're getting started. So first off, my personal belief statements, I tried to keep these as concise as possible. I know it looks like a lot of words on this page, but I won't read verbatim, but I do want to share with you, though, some of my personal beliefs about how I'm going to approach this particular course. As the first point states, I do believe in giving students choice, and so throughout this course, students are going to have lots of opportunities. First off, as it says there, choose their own reading. They'll be choosing their own independent novels. In fact, they need to have one fairly quickly so that so they can get started on one of their first assignments. Also, I'm going to give students the opportunity to write about their own life experiences, and periodically they'll have that throughout the entire year. Also, I believe in collaboration, and so students will frequently be working in small groups. I did put a little note on here that while we're online, we will be using breakout rooms on Google Meet and discussion board on Schoology. Again, working towards a common goal, being collaborative, working together. Next, I do believe in a growth mindset, and so students will monitor their own growth throughout the year. They'll have lots of opportunities for reflection and feedback. And lastly, I put on there that I do think, and I truly do believe, that we can all be better readers, writers, and thinkers. And so obviously as an English teacher, I'm going to encourage your student, or students plural, to read, write, and speak every single day, whether that's online or in person. A great question that I'd like to answer next is, what should I expect during virtual learning? What's it going to look like in your classroom, Mrs. Humphreys? Well, first off, and I'm consistent, we will have Google Meets. They will take place during our scheduled class time on the virtual teaching schedule. The virtual teaching schedule is later in this slideshow. You can also access the virtual teaching schedule on the Lee Summit West homepage. I will place a Google Meet link for you to join in Schoology. And then in addition to those whole class meetings, there might be times where I utilize Google Meet or Google Hangouts to confer with students one-on-one. The most likely scenario for a one-on-one conference would be at a tutoring session, or just a check-in, or a writing conference. It's very common that I meet one-on-one with a student if we're talking about a specific piece of writing, so that I can give specific detailed feedback. I will also rely on the Schoology calendar, discussion boards, email, and comments on Google Docs to communicate. Schoology calendar will be linked, or Schoology calendar can be linked to your Google Calendar, and I have attached a video of myself explaining how to do that right here. I did state, and it's bolded on purpose obviously, but it's very important for students to check email and Schoology daily, maybe even multiple times a day. Usually once a day, at our scheduled class time is probably going to be enough, but just in case. Each week students will have a folder of tasks to complete. Sometimes that might be multiple things. If we're working on a project, it might simply be continue working on this project. But I did want to make sure that I highlight this part. Some assignments may be due at the end of the same day, and other assignments might be due by the end of the week. So I do think it's important, as I emphasized up here, to make sure that you have a calendar that you're utilizing. For me, that's Google Calendar, and that's why I gave you directions for how to export Schoology Calendar to your Google Calendar. But if you rely solely on your Schoology Calendar, that's probably okay too, but make sure you've got one. Finally, I just want to emphasize over and over and over again that communication is going to be vital in our current learning situation. Please email or text me via Remind 101 with questions that you have. The information for joining Remind 101 is right here in the course syllabus. Again, through Remind 101, you can text me. That comes directly to my cell phone. And I do need to state, though, so we're all on the same page, parents can also sign up for these Remind 101 texts. Things I might send in Remind, I may send homework reminders, I might send Google Meet reminders, but I also want to emphasize that you can reply via text message to my Remind 101 messages. But just so you know, the Lee Summit R7 School District does have access to our Remind 101 accounts, so they can read every single message that we send, and they can read every single message that we receive. So I just want to make sure that everybody's aware of that. Next, I did link to the course syllabus. If you click on that link, it's going to take you to that particular document. Like I said, it's going to have the Remind 101 information, excuse me, Schoology information, course description, materials needed, so on and so forth. What's the schedule? In case you have not seen the schedule for virtual learning, again, this is linked on the Lee Summit West homepage as well, but this is what it looks like. A days, we have odd classes, 1, 3, 5, and 7. B days, we have 2, 4, 6. Wednesdays are a student off day. However, Wednesdays are scheduled for open tutoring from 10 a.m. to noon, and specific check-ins from 1 to 3. So those are times where if your student is struggling with something, that is a great time to connect with me so that we can work through those issues. You can also see on here teacher prep and office hours are listed. Okay, you can see those. But I do need to state on B days, I think I'm one of 3 in the building that this applies to. I am not available on B days from 7:10 a.m. to 9 a.m. because that is when they have scheduled my 0-hour course. I teach IB Theory of Knowledge. I will be in IB Theory of Knowledge from 7:10 to 9 a.m. However, if you need to get a hold of me during that time, don't hesitate. Send an email, send a text message, and somehow, some way, I'll get back to you. Okay, what will I be learning throughout? This slide, I just did this semester. I did not do the whole year. So this semester, our focus is on media literacy. And so I put on here the 5 modules. Sometimes we combine some of these modules, sometimes they kind of overlap. And then the year-long project that we'll be working on is the capstone project, which you maybe have heard about from other students other years. But so our major units of media literacy are foundations of media, content creation, truth, control and ownership, and media and society. The year-long capstone project focuses on a student-selected topic where they come up with a plan of action and actually implement the plan of action to create change in the community. You'll get a lot more details on that in the course syllabus, and you'll also get a lot more details on that later in the semester from me. Grading. Some points that I want to emphasize. Honors English 12 utilizes a weighted grade book. Unit makes are worth 60% of the final grade for the course. Usually those unit makes are projects of some sort. And the chart to the right over here on my screen is 90% of the final grade, and then the final exam, of course, is 10% of the final grade. And so the grading breakdowns that you're going to see in PowerSchool, the formative grades, this is 35% of the overall grade in this category. That's going to be progress checks, quizzes. Are we progressing towards the learning standards? And then the summative grades. In most classes, those could be tests, but for this class in particular, they are usually projects, like I mentioned a second ago. That's 60% of the overall grade. And then, of course, our not very specific category at the end, other work would be like all of the daily stuff or other stuff that we do is 5% of the overall grade in that 90% category. Okay, as is required for me to discuss as an English teacher, though I think other academic disciplines address this as well, academic dishonesty is not tolerated. I don't know that I need to go in depth into this. If you want to come back and read over this, you certainly can. But we do everything possible to avoid plagiarism, whether that's accidental or intentional. And usually on projects and papers, we have so many checkpoints along the way. I'm usually able to catch those things early on. The only time that I really see plagiarism is if a student hasn't kept up with the checkpoints and then at the end is frantically trying to throw together a paper or a project and they end up copying from the internet. And so if we can avoid that, it will be great for all of us. I did include here some plagiarism supports. Our Library Media Center does offer plagiarism lessons and quizzes. Your student has most likely taken a plagiarism quiz previously in an English course. We do utilize Turnitin.com, which students can submit their essay and run a plagiarism report, and then they have the ability to go back and change anything that comes up plagiarized. And I did link here to the plagiarism policy as well as a plagiarism checklist. And obviously, if all else fails, please send your student to me if they have a question. Should I cite this? Should I not? Send them to me, send them to a librarian, and we can take care of answering those questions. Okay, what do I need for this class? I put a couple of things on here. You're going to need a Chromebook, obviously. Well, even if we were face-to-face, you'd need a Chromebook, but online learning, I think that's probably an obvious one. I probably didn't need to put that. But I did give you a link here. If you're having problems with your Chromebook, parents, perhaps you could fill out the help ticket. You can do this on a cell phone, but I did give you that link on how to do that. Students will also need a notebook. Looks similar to this, a composition notebook. We'll use this to journal write in. We'll use it to take notes. We'll use it to record annotations. And what I'll do is probably, I'll have students take pictures on their cell phone, and we can upload those pictures to Schoology to take a look at those. So they won't have to like mail me the notebook or anything like that. A couple of extra things that your student's going to need for this course. I put some kind of basics: pens, Post-its, headphones. Headphones are needed when we come back face to face. We will utilize headphones on a regular basis. And choice novels. Choice novels mean just that, a book that your student would like to read. We will read multiple choice novels throughout the semester, and they'll need their first one as soon as possible. Okay, if you ever need extra help or resources, these are some ways to do that. You can email me, first and foremost, that's listed there. Office hours are listed there. You can email me to set up a one-on-one conference. And parents, if you're, I don't know, something isn't working, you're freaking out, you're trying to, calm your student that's, freaking out about something not working, feel free to call me at extension 7815. If you leave a voicemail, it immediately generates an email that it sends to me. It says, hey, you have a voicemail. I can listen to that voicemail on my computer even, and then I can get back to you as quickly as possible. So if you need to, don't hesitate. Like I said, though, you can also sign up for those Remind 101 messages, and you can always reply to my messages with question, concern, celebration, any of those things. Okay, that is it for my presentation. If you have any questions, please let me know. Like I said, I am going to provide a link for this document that I've been going through on my screen so that you can click on those links. And again, don't hesitate. Reach out to me if you have questions or concerns, and we will answer, or I'll answer everything that I can. All right, I'm looking forward to a fantastic school year. I'm excited to get to know each and every one of my soon-to-be students, and anyway, take care.